Yeah, hello there and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson. And today we are going to configure our Firebase dynamic link with the iOS. And on the previous lecture we have already covered the dynamic link with the Android side, and currently we are working with the section 6 of the Firebase integration. So let us continue over here, and let us go back to our project over here. And first thing is that let me go and open up my iOS in the Xcode. And once you are in the Xcode, you will have all of your configurations. So we have a multiple flavor, which is of dev, QA, UAT, and the production. So let's select the target and the runner from here. And now what we'll do is let's go to the signing capabilities over here, and let's add the capabilities from here. Let's search for the domain, associate domain, and just add this one. And you will get all of the bunch of the error over here. That is because the signing profile is not configured with the associate domain, so you will get this particular error, but we will fix it later. So let's go on down over here with the associate domain. You can just click on add this particular associate domain, and let's go and grab our associate domain from here. And this is our particularly the associate domain, or this is our dynamic link. So we are currently using the Firebase provided dynamic link. So just copy this one, and let's go back to our project over here, and over here let us add that one, and just remove this one, the end one, and let's go to the documentation. And if you go to the documentation over here, it has mentioned on the let's go over here on the target. So we need to add in this way. So in the front we need to have the app links. Just copy this one, and let's go back over here, and let's go down over here, and we need to remove this HTTPS, and then I guess that should be fine. So it's quite small over here. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see it, but I will paste this on the course lecture, so you can just take it from there. So app link, and your particularly the domain, the domain that was provided you by the Firebase console for your app link. So currently my one is the app link, and then it should be of the applinks.ecom app, right? So once we are done with this one, and if you go to the each of your build configuration, so you should have that one added over there. And if you go over to the dev, it is there, and then the release dev. Now if you want to change that one to the another configuration, like for your QA configuration, you need to update it over here. Okay, so you may have, because currently our Firebase project contained multiple flavor over here, or the multiple project that is related to the same project, right? So which is of a development. Currently we are working with the dev branch, and if we later we have a QA, UAT, and the product, and you will have a different link for each of your configuration. So you need to change it later. Here you need to go to your each of your configuration over here and update that particular link. So each of the configuration should have its own link. You are not going to use it the same link for all of your configuration. So I guess we are done with this one, and let's go back to the documentation. And once we have that setup, once we are done with this particular setup, what we'll do is we need to go to the Apple developer account, and we need to set up our project to set the associate domain name. So let's go back to our developer account, or the Apple developer account over here, and let's select our identifier. And currently we are working with our dev, so I guess this is the one. So ecom app dev, so let's select this one, and here in the capabilities we need to select the associate domains. Just select this one, and you need to save it. And adding or removing the capabilities will invalidate any provisioning profile. Yeah, that's correct. And include this Apple ID and must be regenerated for the further. So the Apple and the app ID, they must be regenerated. Just confirm this one, And once you're done with this one, we need to go to profile and we need to regenerate that particular profile. So let's go to our this particular profile that we have, ecom app provisioning profile div, and let's go over here and let's go, if we can edit this one. I guess it is in the enable capabilities. You can see it has an associate domain name already enabled for us, and in-app purchase and push notification. Okay, so you can see that it has the associate domain already enabled for us. So now we can actually download this one. Just save this one and then just download this. And once you have downloaded that one, let's go to the our download folder, and here is that particular file downloaded. So let me just drag this one to my provisioning profile, and let me replace it. Okay, so we are done that with that one. So let's go back over here, and now if you see this particular, let's go into the all, and now let's bring back that on the, we have currently configured that one for the dev version. So let me import it one more time, and we see that it's still getting an error. So the provisioning profile ecom app provisioning profile dev doesn't support the associate domain. So this provisioning profile doesn't support, but actually we have already updated it. So let me close all of this information, and then let me go back to here over here and open in the Xcode again. Let's try to see if it fixed that particular issue. If not, then we need to reinstall that. Okay, so we got that fixed, and we just ecom app provisioning profile dev is outdated and download an updated version. Okay, so we have just downloaded and we need to update it. So just update that one, and that will fix that particular issue. So we have now our signing config for the build configuration for the dev has already updated. Let's do the same thing for the rest of our one. So we need to do for the QA, and then we have to do it for the UAT, and then we have to do it for the production. So let's go back over here and go to the profile, and let's go to next is for the QA, and let's check if that is enabled. So we haven't enabled the that domain, so associate domain. So let's go back to the identifier and let's enable that one in our QA, and let's go and update the associate domain over here. Just update and save this one, confirm it, and then we will do it for the QA UAT, and just select the associate domain and save it, confirm it, and then finally we have for our production version, just select the associate domain from here and save it and just confirm it. So once we are done, let's go to the profile for each of these ones. Let's go to the QA and let's check that it, okay, so now you can see it has enabled for us, and just try to edit it and try to resave this one and just download that one, and let's do for the rest of our UAT, and you see it's already there. I guess that should be fine. Just save it and then just download it. And another one is our production version. I guess this is a production version. Edit it, and you have to save this one. Associate domain is enabled, so just download this one. Now this all of our provisioning profiles should be validated, so we don't see any invalid over here. So once we are done with this one, let's go to the download folder, and where is our download folder, and we have this. So let's grab all of this information from here and let's put it inside the provisioning profile folder, and let me replace all of this. Okay, and that should be good to go. So once we are done with this one, just close all of this, and let's go back to our Xcode over here, and let me try to import this, and it's still not showing up that. Okay, so let's close this one, and then let's try to open it one more time. So just open it in the Xcode, and let us fix all of this issue. Okay, so let's go to QA. It's already applied, and then we are on the UAT. Just update this one, and here let us try to update for our production build. Okay, that looks good. So all of our problem has been solved over here. Only thing is that the associated domain, make sure you change it based on your configuration. So but currently we have only one that particular link for the dev build or the dev configuration, but you may want to change it later on. So next step is we'll go to the info over here, and the in the URL, so URL type, let us add the new one, and here we will add our URL schema. So for that, let's go to the info over here, and let's copy the bundle identifier. So I'll just grab this information, and let's go back to the runner from here, and here let's add that one. So URL schema, the product bundle identifier, and that should in the identifier I can just say bundle ID. So if you go to the documentation, there you should see that particular information. So on this one you need to mention it, and I can just copy this one from here, or else you can just give it any name over here, but bundle identifier should be fine because this is a bundle identifier for each of our configurations, because we have a multiple configuration over here. And then once we are done with this, we are good to go. And next is let's open up our info the plist file, and I guess I'll just close all of this from here. And what you can do is you can copy this particular, if you have a set, this is actually not required, but later if you add a custom domain for your production build, then you may need to configure this one. So let's just copy this one currently, and later you may change it. So you need to go to the info the plist file and add this particular configuration. So if you set a custom domain for your Firebase project, add the DynamicLink URL prefix into your iOS project into the info.plist file. So let's go to iOS folder from here and open up the let's go to the runner, and in the runner we have the info.plist file. Let's go to the down at the bottom over here, and at the end I will just add that one, and you just have to arrange it properly. So once you are done with this one, this will be your custom domain name. So if you have a custom domain name configured over here, so currently we don't have any custom domain, but I will just copy off this one and just put it over here. So this will be our custom domain name, and that should be fine. So if you want to add more, you can just add it on later. So that should be fine, and I'll just remove this or just keep it as it is. And once we are done with this one, we are good to go. So if you go to the documentation over here, and then we are good to go. So if there is optional, but let's disable the DynamicLink SDK to use on the iOS pasteboard. So this is related to the iOS pasteboard, and you can just go and read about it. If you want to disable it, you can just disable using this particular key value here. So we'll just leave it as it is for now, and let's go back to our project over here. And what we can do now is we can actually run our project over here in the actual device. So I will select my iPhone from here, which is our real device, and let us try to run our project from here. So let's go and let me close all of this, because we have made some changes on our native site, so we must rebuild our application. So let's try to run the project from here, and it will take some time. And once the application is running or it's building, so let's go back to our console on the Firebase. And what we need to do is we need to create a new dynamic link, because on the previous lecture we just use it for the Android. So for that, before we can start, let's go to the project setting, And let's go on to our iOS app over here. And here currently what we need to do is we need to set up the App Store ID, and currently we don't have any App Store ID. That means we haven't released the app ID to the Firebase, it's to the Apple Store or to the test flight. So let's go and add our just random one number over here, and later once we release the app, we will come and update it. So make sure you have a team ID and app ID and bundle ID, all of this configuration correctly set up over here before we can proceed. So now we can go to the dynamic link, and now let's go and create a new dynamic link over here. And let's select the dynamic link from here, and let's select the prefix, this one. So if you want to change it, then that should be fine, but let's keep as it is for now, and it should be a unique one. So just click on next, and then if you want to go to the deep link URL, so where do you want to go to the deep link URL? So I want to go to this particular deep link previously that we have already configured. This is our detail screen, or the detailed product detail page inside our application. So that will take us to our let's go to the feature, and inside this feature we have a product and we have a product detail screen. So when I mention this particular detail, I should be able to navigate to this particular route inside our application. So let's set it as a name as a promo. Just click on next, and from here what we want to define a link behavior for your Apple. What you want to do is open the deep link URL in the browser, or whether you want to open, let's do it for the app because we are doing it for our Flutter application. So which app, we will select our iOS app from here, and then you can see if the app is not installed on the user device, what you want to do, which means that open the App Store URL. That's why we need to mention the app ID. And if it is if you don't have that, you can just set it to custom URL. That should be fine, and this will take you to the particular web URL. So your website should have this particular link too. Otherwise you can amend this URL from here. So make sure if you redirect to the custom URL, this URL should be valid one and have that particular link. Let's set it to the App Store for now, because we still don't have App Store, but let's presume that we have an App Store app on our App Store. So I guess that should be fine. Advanced setting, open different app if it's an iPad. No, we don't want to do that. Add the App Store campaign or affiliation parameter. Okay, we don't have any campaign or the affiliation. Override the default custom URL scheme. No, that's not, we don't want to do it. And the next is that we want to open the deep link URL in the app, not the browser, for our Android application too. So let's select our Android app from here, and we want to go to the Google Play Store if the user hasn't installed that particular link or the app. So let's go and click on next, and then these are the parameter that you want to set for your the analytics. Google Analytics, it can capture all of this information if you want to. So I guess we will not set that up, and let's go and create our deep link from here. So now we got this particular deep link. I guess this is the one that we just created, and just copy this one, and I will send an email for this one, or you can directly open up in your the browser in your iPhone, but let me send it as an email. And previously we directly open on the browser, but let me send it this one through the email. And once you're done sending the email, you can receive that particular email over here. Just open up the email, and we get that particular link over here. So just click on this particular email link from here, and you can see that it will open up our application, and currently we are not logged into the application. So let's log into the application from here, and it will take you to the product details. So which means that the dynamic link that we have set up over here to redirect us to the product detail is working fine. So that's great, right? and which means now both of our Android and the iOS dynamic link using the Firebase is configured correctly. So what we can do is we can go back to our Firebase dynamic link configuration over here, and here we can also add an option to actually build your own dynamic link from your application, and you can share it or email it that particular link. So if you want to create your own dynamic link, instead of creating from the Firebase console over here, if you want the user to let it create from here or from your application, then that would be also another option. So let us create a function for that one. Let's create a function over here which will have the future, and that will be type of the, let's create a short dynamic link type. So this will be written as the short dynamic link type, and here let's create a build short dynamic dynamic link, and let's go and create a new one. So from here I guess we'll take some of the parameter. So let's say a string, and that will be of a string link, and it will be type of the non-nullable type. And also we'll take some the string, and let's take the URI PR prefix, so prefix prefix, and let's take another one string of the fallback URL, and we'll be using it later. And then we will also need some like a string campaign campaign name, I guess. Okay, so campaign name, and also let's say a string, let's say it's of a nullable type of the tag title, 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 right? And then let's have another one string which will be of the nullable type, and that will be of a tag, the script and tag description. So let us take all of this and let's make this function as asynchronous, because we need to do some asynchronous work inside over here. So once we are done with that, let's create a final, let's say DYNA dynamic link, and dynamic link PARAMS branch of equals to DYNA dynamic link parameters. So we need to pass in the parameters. So some of them are required and some of them are optional. So let's go and add in over here for, let's arrange it properly. So link is this particular link that we are getting in, so it should be from, what we need to do is we need to do the URI dot parse it and pass the link that we are getting in, and that should be fine. And the next step is we have the, actually within just using this one you are able to do it, but let us add some other parameter or some other optional parameter over here, which is of the, let's say you can add the Android parameter, and you can just say in the Android parameter, and inside this you can add the package name. So for the package name, what we can do is let's go and grab the package name. Do we have the ref object over here? Okay, so we have the ref object, so which means we can actually call, let's say I can call the ref underscore ref dot the read, and I have the env reader, I guess the env reader provider, and then I can just select get the Android bundle ID from here, and then I can also add the fallback minimum version. So you can also add the fallback URL. So that is the option fallback URL that we have provided, which will be of the fallback URL, and it takes the URI. So I guess we need to make it as a URI dot the parse, right, and then pass in our fallback URL over here. So we are good with that. And next is that we also can pass in the iOS parameter. So iOS parameter over here, and call it as a iOS parameter, and it takes a bundle ID. So let's go and arrange this one. So a bundle ID, which we can get it from the ref dot. The read will use a Riverpod over here, and env provider that we have, and get the iOS bundle ID from here. So that we have already set up previously. And then we also need to have a fallback. Let's say a fallback URL, URI.parse the fallback URL that we are passing in. Okay, though we have these two configuration, and next is you can also add some other optional parameter that is of the let's say Google Analytic parameter. So if you want to do some analytic, so you can add the Google Analytic parameters, and with this you can add some of the analytic parameter like the source. So source is from where you are getting in. So if you see that particular source is the type of the string, so let's put it empty for now. And then we can also have the medium. So medium, maybe we can just set it as a app or something to say that this is coming from the app. And the campaign, or we can have the like a campaign. So maybe you can just pass in the campaign campaign, that's sorry, CAMP campaign. So where is that? This is the one that we are passing in, right? So you can just pass in over here. So these are the information. And for the source, what we can do is whether we can say whether this is an Android or the iOS. So let's go down over here, and I guess I will create a one function over here. So let's call this one as return type will be a string, and just get the sourc source. And here we will check for the if the particular platform, which should be from the .io each of the Android, then we will just return from here let's say Android. So android Android from here. And otherwise we can just say else I guess else if, and we'll just else if, and why it's not okay, else if, and we'll just say platform dot each of the iOS. Then we will return from here, return the iOS, right? So that should be fine, or you can just say iOS, and that should be fine. And once we have that, on the else part we can just say that return something from here like none or something else from here. So we can just go and pass it that one from here. So let's say underscore get. Okay, so it's not a local, so let's make it as a local. So it should be of a get the source. That should be fine. So once we have that, we can also add the other option like the social media. I guess there is a social media, social tag parameters, social meta tag parameter. So I guess we can also add that one. So SOCI social tag parameters. Just grab that one, and here you have the. So you can see there are a lot of other options that you can actually add in, but I'm just adding some of them. So you can add description, image, URL, and title, and all of those stuff. So I can just say title that we have. I guess we are passing is the tag title, and also we are passing in the description as the tag description. And if you have an image, you can just pass in as an image over there. So these are all of the parameters that we will fill in over here. And you can also look into this, and there are a lot of the other parameters that you can actually pass in over here. So what will this, once we have this particular DynamicLink parameter setup. Let's go down over here, and here we will just say final. Let's call it as a final, and a sort dynam dynamic link, which is equals to, we will create a await and the Firebase dynamic link, and then we get the instance from here. Once we have the instance, that we can use the build the link. We'll create a long link, and we just want to have a short link. Let's create a short link, and we just pass in our dynamic link parameter over here. And let me arrange this one properly. So once we are done with that one, it should be good. So build a short URL type, and also you have an option to pass in other, like a short link type, and then you can also pass in the type like this one. So if you want, then you can just go and add that one. Just go down, and let's add this one over here, short link type, and this one has a short, the short link type, that unguessable. So if you want to be more generate a more secure link which cannot be guessed, so you can just use that one. Or if you just want to use a short, by default is a short, which is a very short URL, and then I guess it's just a 3 or 4 character. But if you need to create a secure one, so which cannot be guessed one, so you can just use an unguessable. This will create a unguessable one. And then finally, once we have this, this is a return type will be of a short dynamic link, and then from here we will just return the short dynamic link that we have. So now let me arrange, or let me fix this missing comma. Okay, so we are good to go over here, and also here we need to fix this, all of this issue. So now this particular functionality, you can make it call from anywhere inside your application once you have access to the dynamic link. So this way you can create a reusable function, so you don't have to recreate all of this again and again. So if your application has this particular functionality to generate the link and share it into your social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, and all of those stuff, you can just generate a link and share with your friends using this particular concept. So I guess that's all, and we have successfully covered both of the topic on the Android and iOS to configure the Firebase dynamic links. So let's meet up in the next lecture. Till then, have a great day.